So, good morning. I will be presenting to you right now the item number 1 of our laboratory work in Taylor series. So, given the function f of u is equal to 1 all over 1 minus u, we are going to use Taylor series to approximate the value of u, given the condition that the absolute value of u is less than 1. So, the absolute value of u should be less than 1 dahil kapag, let's say, if we entered a higher value of u, let's say 3, magkakaroon na siya ng sobrang laking error. Okay? And the approximation will no longer be accurate due to the huge error. So, we can only be using less than 1, for example, 0.5. So, for now, uh, we let us first take note that the corresponding Taylor series of this function is equal to the summation of u raised to k from k is equal to 0 to k is equal to positive infinity. So you can see in our Excel that the first column composed of the corresponding values of k, the second column is composed of the corresponding values of u raised to k, the third column is for the approximation, and the fourth column is for the errors, which is the difference of the approximation and the real value of the function. So also take note that as the k gets higher and higher in degree, the approximation also gets closer and closer to the real value, which is now assumed to be 2 dahil 1.99999 na yung 27th degree k or the 27th degree k approximation. And we can see that our error is now very little when the degree of k is now very high, because 27 is already considered as a high value. Kapag in-expand pa po ng in-expand ang ating value of k, then mag-add up pa ang ating u raised to k, which will result to a more precise approximated value. So dito, assume natin na 2 ang ating real value, but let's just check. Given the value of u 0.5, so 1 all over 1 minus 0.5 is equal to 2. So tama. So our real value of function is equal to 2. So we can see here that the error is equal to the approximated value. Let's say here it's 1 minus the real value, which is 2. So ang magiging error natin is negative 1. So now I will try to demonstrate how we were able to do this Taylor series in Excel. First, I will enter the value of u, which is equal to 0.5, just for an example. And now I will just copy the labels above the table or above the column. Now we can see in our Taylor series that the k should always start at 0. So let's put 0 here, and let's extend that to, let's say, 27. Now the u raised to k is just u raised to the corresponding value of k in the table. So for this cell, we can say that the value of k is equal to 0, kasi katabi niya is 0, and just say u raised to 0. So that would be equal to 1. And then maari natin itong i-extend until the last value. So here are the values of u raised to k. Now for 1 all over 1 minus u, I said earlier that the summation of u raised to k from k is equal to 0 to k is equal to infinity, that would be equal to the approximated value, which is in this column. So now, let's say if k is equal to 0, wala tayong ma-add dito sa u raised to k. So, ang malalagay lang natin dito is 1 pa rin. Dahil 1 ang ating u raised to 0. So now, for this portion naman, we can say na this is 1.5 dahil 1 plus u raised to k when k is equal to 1, that is 0.5. So 1 plus 0.5 is 1.5. But we can just say that this is equal to 0.5 plus this shell. So that will be equal to 1.5. So we can just extend this up to the last value. Now we can see that it's getting closer and closer to 2, which is the real value. Now the error is just the difference of the approximated value and the real value. Take note that the approximated value here is equal to this one, and it's just minus the function, which is equal to 1 all over 1 minus u. So this is the error, and let's just extend it up to the last. So this is now the error, and this is now the approximation. Take note that when the approximation gets closer to the real value, the error also gets closer to 0. So, ang take natin dito is every time that the degree of k gets higher and higher, the approximation also gets more precise and the error gets closer to 0. So, yun lang po ang aming report for item number 1, and thank you and God bless.